How many of you have a daughter out here? Raise your hand. Okay, a lot of you. How would you feel if that daughter that you love so much had been repeatedly raped by someone you know? How would you feel? Most of you would be devastated, angry, hurt, confused. Did you know that 1 out of 3 girls will be sexually abused by the age of 18? That's my story. Tonight, I will share with you how I escaped, started over, and continue to heal by using the power of my voice. Do y'all know the power of your voices? I just believe that our voices can change this world by expressing outrage, a need, encouragement. When I think about the power of my voice and what it does for me personally, 2 things come to my mind: healing and liberating. Healing means to make whole, and liberating means to be set free. Who wouldn't want that? We just have to be mindful that sometimes fear will silence our voices. So you see, when I was a little girl, I was like any normal child. I was energetic, super talkative, so adorable. Sometimes mischievous, but I loved to play with baby dolls and play on the playground. I wanted love and validation like all kids deserve and desire. If you would have asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would have told you emphatically that one day you would see me running track in the USA Olympics, and one day you will see me become a police officer. How many of you old enough to know who Jesse Owens is? Everybody. He was my idol. I studied his running technique. I read every book about him. I watched all of his documentaries. When I was in elementary, I was the fastest kid in elementary. Did I mention I beat every boy running too? I still can hear Coach Shoemaker call my name once she saw me race. She said, "Lakesha, come here." You have to understand, Coach Shoemaker, she was over 6 feet tall. She was a giant. But this particular day, she called me over and she said, "Lakesha," with the most serious look, in the most serious tone, she said, "Lakesha, I am going to see you in the Olympics." So I froze. I was scared at first because she was so serious. But when I realized what she said to me, when what she said to me resonated, at that moment, I believed that I was destined for the Olympics. That was my dream. That dream was shattered on the night that my stepfather raped me. I was only 11 years old, and of course I was a virgin. The very first night that he inappropriately touched me, I remember screaming to the top of my lungs, "Stop!" But nothing happened. He didn't move. Nobody came to my rescue. I laid there and I began to pinch myself to see if I was dreaming. My voice had been silenced by fear. Have you ever had a time where you felt like you said something but it didn't come out? That was fear. That's what happened to me. This had become my secret shame. I literally would cover my head with a pillow to hide, to cover up the sounds of my cry. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, from the age of 11 to 14 years old, he raped me my life took a downward spiral out of control. I was hurt, confused, lonely, angry, ashamed. I was every negative emotion that you could possibly think of. I felt it. I developed very low self-esteem, and I became promiscuous. I began looking for love in all the wrong places, and at the age of 14, I purposely got pregnant in hopes that that monster would leave me alone at home. After I had my baby, I thought the abuse would end, but it continued. And I remember in my 15-year-old mind, I devised a plan to set up a booby trap for him. I locked my bedroom door. I placed my little baby toys right inside the door. So if he opened the door would hit the toys, and the toys would make noise to wake me up. You see, I hated to be startled out of my sleep. But I strategically placed my baby on the bed, and I laid next to the wall. I did that as a deterrent. Because surely if he came in and he saw the positioning of my baby, he would turn around. I still remember John. That was my baby name. He was sleeping so comfortably on the bed. Can you believe that that monster, he made it past that locked door? He made it past those toys that I strategically placed on the floor without a sound. And as he attempted to pass my baby to reach me, my baby fell on the floor. I can never stop thinking about that cry. He ran out the room. I quickly picked up my baby to console him. And at that moment, I had made up in my mind that I was leaving and not coming back. I was so done. I confided in my friend's mother, who allowed me to spend the night at their house. And I was awakened by 2 police officers the next morning from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And I still see them standing at the threshold of the bedroom door, and me sitting on the edge of the bed with so much hope, anticipation. And as the female officer approached me, the first thing she said, "You're lying." Man, that crushed me. I shut down immediately. You see, because I always thought that when you need the police, they're there to come and respond to help you, not hurt you. And the fact that this was a female, a girl, a woman, judging me, so insensitive, I was hurt. But thankfully, the male officer, he escorted her out the room. And I remember him coming over to me. He gently kneeled down beside my side. And he said 3 of the most profound words that every victim wants to know and hear. "I believe you." That was the first time I understood the power of my voice. Because I was able to speak out and tell and articulate what had been happening to me, that ended my abuse. He went to jail. He was released shortly after that because of lack of evidence. He returned home, a place I vowed never to return to. And I often tell people that I was safer on the streets of Jacksonville than in my own home. So then my life transitioned into what I like to call survival mode. I was living from place to place. I was angry, I was full of hatred, and I was fighting everybody. I dropped out of school. I began to consume drugs and alcohol, just to deaden that pain that was so deep down in my core. I resorted to stealing clothes and milk and Pampers to take care of my baby. And at one point, I had burned so many bridges. I had no place to go, and I found myself homeless. Yes, I slept outside many nights with my baby. In 1992, I hit rock bottom. I hated myself. I hated my life. I was broken. I began contemplating suicide. And somebody invited me to a church revival. And you know, the only reason I went to the church revival is because I felt like I had nothing else to lose. But I want y'all to know, I went to that church revival, and God saved my life that night. Yes, he did, without a doubt. My life had changed from that moment forever. Good things started happening for me right away. In 1993, I started going back to school. I was the homecoming queen, prom queen, so you know what that did for my self-esteem, right? I was voted as the president, student athlete of the year. I was the turnaround student of Duval County in 1993. The school board gave me a car. You can Google it. It was a 1989 Le Mans Pontiac. Yes. My dad said, nothing's free. So I won that car. I received a full scholarship to play college basketball, and I was able to take my baby to college off with me. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And in 1999, I began my career as a police officer, my lifelong dream. So by all accounts, right, I had it going on, right? No, I was broken. I was empty. And what I've learned is that until the pattern of victimization is healed, it will show up again in our life, over and over again. And that's what happened to me. In 1999, the first 5 years of my career, I was a victim of domestic violence. My abuser, he cursed me, he slapped me, he punched me, kicked me, spit in my face. He beat me with a belt. He tried to kill me one night. My voice had been silenced again. I was broken again. I was in a dark place. But this time was different because I started to lose my mind. I knew I was losing my mind when I went to work one day and I handled 5 domestic violence calls. In each call, I became progressively frantic, begging the victims to leave their abusers, begging them to protect their kids, to go to a safe place, to go get an injunction. Every time, I was exhausted by the end of the night. And when I went home, I couldn't sleep. I woke up 1 o'clock in the morning and I walked downstairs in my house and I turned on the light and I couldn't believe it. I had about 15 people in my house. All the victims and their kids were in my house and I couldn't remember. So I arranged for all of them to go down to the state attorney's office to get this injunction for protection. And while I was sitting in there, I began to talk to myself. Do y'all talk to yourself? Yeah. This is how the conversation went. Keisha, you need to ask for help. Oh no, I'm a professional. It's too embarrassing. People look up to me. They think I'm strong. Keisha, you need to use that same advice that you give other women every day. This may be your last chance. And you know, the light came on. And that day, I used the power of my voice. And all I did was simply ask for help. And I got it. I got it. Through counseling, all the myriad of resources that were available, the strong support system that I have, I made it. Not to mention, God blessed me with a husband right there, Greg Burton. Woo. I am so proud to stand before you tonight. I'm trying to look at all y'all right now, because I want you to know that I am not my past. I am not my trauma. I continue to heal, but I choose to heal by using the power of my voice to bring awareness and to help those who have been silenced by such shame, guilt, embarrassment, all that stuff that come with it. But most importantly, so I can be liberated. That means to be set free. It's continuous. To be set free from my nightmares. To be set free from my triggers. To be set free from these memories. It's continuous. Where can you use your voice? How can you use your voice? You will never know the power of your voice unless you use it. Thank you, and God bless you.